Good morning. Today is the 21st of November 2024 and I'm going to go through my plan and levels I'm watching for today. Before we start, let's look and see what news could move or have moved the market today. We had some medium impact news coming at 8:30 and we saw not a great deal of movement from that, so pretty low impact. And then today we've got 10 a.m. existing home sales, medium news. 12:30 we've got some Fed speakers from 12:25 onwards, just be a bit wary then as well. And that's it, so some medium news today. And just see whether that coincides with my indicator I've built. And looks like it does pretty much. I'm sure what the error is, I need to look into that. Something to do with my link probably. Playing with my internet as well. So news, that'll be live on the live stream I do with the order flow. Just nice to see what news is coming up at those times. Good morning, Charles. Hopefully you're well. Hopefully you have a good trading day today. I'm going to go through today's levels. We're looking at the ES at the moment, and we're currently, in fact I can see a couple of good places. Area we was watching yesterday, this 59.60, 59.58 area. I do quite like the break. Let's just refine that slightly. I do quite like the retest of that area. If we come back down, look for the bounce for the long entry. And yeah, next area, I'm not a big fan of this area right now, even though we was watching it yesterday, and look at that. It came in rejected, so it was a good area, but we've now broken through. We did retest it slightly. We could watch for a high risk bounce at yesterday's high as well then, so just keep an eye on 59.40 for a bounce. This area here, 59.30, 59.40 is basically yesterday's high. We're watching this region here as well, 59.55 for a bounce. And then the only rejection I've got is as we start coming into this area of volume, and I'll come back to this area of volume in a second for the bounce. And I quite like this bottoms of these pivots here. We broke through, came back up, retested. So this zone here, I quite like all of this zone here for a rejection. So it's a big area, and if we can get up there, then watch 59.90. Obviously we've got 6,000 as well, which is a psychological number, so keep an eye on that region. And you know, we could even just watch a little bit higher, so let's just retract that. Let's watch this zone here as well, and what I'm looking for is for the move to come into that zone, spike through it with a top and tail, something like that, like a reversal candle, and then come back down, and then I'll be looking to take my entry as it comes back down through this area. So it's a big wide area, so we've got to play it with caution. So let's just refine it. So it's going to be this area here, really. So the upper end, I prefer to find an entry at the top end of this into 6,000 for the rejection. So that's what I'll be watching today. These three levels, just to recap again, we're watching 6,000 area. These are the top of that zone. We're watching for a bounce down at 59.55 area. A higher risk bounce at yesterday's high area, 59.40, and then I do quite like this zone down here. If we get back down to where we were yesterday, you know what, this is an area of confidence. You can see the volume coming in, but what I do like the most is probably this region here, 58.80, this region. And obviously we've still got this 5900 area, which is why pre-market low from yesterday. Yes, keep an eye on that. So I'm going to remove this because we've gone through it quite a few times. Even though this is a big area of confidence, you can see the volume coming in that area as well. But this area down here, I quite like yesterday's low for the bounce. Probably again a bigger region in between here. And if we lose that area, we can keep an eye on this 58.55 as well for the bounce. So we do have a few decent levels today, but obviously going with the trend. I quite like the break and the retest of that area. We've broken it already, now we're looking for the retest of 59.60, 59.53 for the long. Let's quickly flick over to the order flow, see if there's anything unusual going on. order flow should be up on my screen now. So this is the news indicator I've built recently, and it also shows on my chart as well. So when there's a high event news, I get a line that comes in there, and I get a bigger notification come up on my NINJATRADER as well, up here in red, saying high impact news event in the next 15 minutes. So it's just make sure that I get out of trades before we have news come in, because the amount of times I've been in a trade and I've not realised it's 10 AM, we've got a high impact, this is like a 3 out of 3 news event on TradingView, and then it's whipped me out, whipped me back down, and then either continued in the same direction I was short, or just whipped me out, and you know, I could have avoided that loss or that break even. I could have got out long before. So that's why I like to keep these news events up as well. So I'll leave this here, so I think it's quite nice to see what's going on in the day as well, in case you're coming up to a potential time. And these are color coded, so if it's red or orange, I think I've got it set to, that's a high impact. No, it's traffic light colors, red, orange, green. So high impact are the red ones, medium impact is the orange, and obviously these are the low impact. Cumulative delta is doing as expected. We've got prices rising, putting in a new high, and cumulative delta, although here it was declining while prices rises. This is a bit of a divergence. And what happened at 7:30? Not much. There's only news at 8:30, and then price started, and then the cumulative delta is rising and price is rising. So nothing unusual, nothing untoward. We're putting in fact, there is a slight divergence right now, but we need to see what happens, because we've put in a new high, and we've put in a new high there, which is fine, and now the price is putting in a new low, whilst cumulative delta is putting in a new high. So potentially we could be at a reversal point, and that's the pre-market high area we're looking at. And if we are coming to a reversal point, then maybe it's going to come back down to that break and retest we're watching at 59.65. No, 59.55 area. So interesting. Looking at the filtered orders, we can see some aligned orders down here. 59.50. What was our level we're watching? 59.55. So yeah, potentially this could help us if we're going for the break and retest. We're looking to get in at 55. So we've got these aligned 30-minute filtered point of controls. So even though I'm not focused on the box, I'm just looking where there's aligned orders. So 59.50 could be a potential stop loss, and then we can then look for areas of bigger volume or point of controls to move the stop loss up if we do get into that trade long. But this area here potentially could be our stop area. There's no orders in that area at the moment, and that's one of the reasons I use the 30-minute only for that, just to see where potentially the market could come back. And we know it's pre-market volume, so I take it as a pinch of salt just at the moment, but we know in that area that's where the point of controls of these bars have been. So we know in that area potentially we could see a little bit of support. So yeah, just keep an eye on this divergence that we're seeing right now. So price decreasing, cumulative delta is increasing, and ultimately, from my back testing, from watching this consistently, cumulative delta does eventually follow the price. So the price is right. The price does eventually follow the cumulative delta. So the price is coming down and the cumulative delta is pushing up high, and potentially we might see price start coming back up again as well. And I saw that yesterday, seen it every few days. At the same time, I've just realised over watching this for almost 6 months that the price usually follows what the cumulative delta does. So, okay, moving on to SPY next. Let's go back to my main screen. Good morning, Nanda. Hopefully you're well. Something interesting today. You know, I live right on the south coast of England, and it's usually warmish, mild climate. But today we woke up to snow, and I can't believe it. November, and we've got snow. Most of it's melted now, but we had quite for us, heavy snow, and we don't get snow at all ever, not down here on the south coast. And because it's so close to the sea air and the salty sea air normally keeps the snow at bay, and it probably was the reason why it's melting quick as well. So that's my exciting day today. Snow down here on the south coast of England. SPY, we've got this nice rejection area here. 594.65. We can watch that area, and again it's a zone. It's a zone, we can watch that region there, all the way up to 596. Potentially we can even watch this area here, because last time we got up to that area we had this big move down. So 598 is an area to watch as well. Bounces, we've still got the same bounce we can watch at 591.84. Break and retest off of yesterday's highs, all those levels there, and it's an area of confidence as well. It's a level we're watching. Tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots, bottoms of pivots here. You could say the tops of these pivots as well, and then the tops of these pivots. So I do quite like that area for a bounce. 591.84, same as ES. And let's zoom in a bit more. And the only place I'd like is probably back down here again for a bounce. We do have volume in this region. In fact, all this region's got volume in, but that makes sense because that's where we've had the most movements there and this area here. So can I find a case to find a bounce at pre-market low? Maybe. There's a little bit of volume there as well. So this region probably a bit too high. But I think today let's just play hourly level, decent hourly levels. That's a decent hourly level, 585.50, and then we've got this point of control up here, 598. Maybe, yeah, I think like ES, I like this area here as well, 594 to 595 for the rejection, and obviously we've got the break and retest of 591.84, 592 basically. SPX. We'll see where the market opens. It will be open a bit higher. We can again keep an eye on this region here for a potential rejection. We've got this region up here as well, and these are zones to watch whether you're trading SPY. I watch SPX. 5900 is a big number, psychological number, another psychological number. So these are our rejection and bounce areas. I watch SPX. If I'm going to go long on ES, then I don't want to go long if we're coming into resistance, because then SPX may just hold it up and make it a harder trade. So, and vice versa, if I'm going short, I want to make sure there's plenty of room below for a short and room for SPX to move. Oh, NQ, I don't mind this today actually. I've got this level where we're kind of up to now the pre-market high, but I do quite like, I'm going to move that down. That's just based on confidence yesterday, but I'm going to use the most recent confidence. So I was using confidence from here, going back a few weeks, and here, bottoms and tops candles, but now more recently we've got the tops of these candles, bottoms of these candles, and the tops of these candles, and we've broken through. So I quite like the retest of 2800, this region here for the bounce. 20, or I'll just say 827 or 800, this is the region I like for the bounce. Rejection again, up in this zone. The reason I like this area is because we've got this green candle, and at one point we had buyers come in and then the sellers took over, so we know there's a little bit of potential supply up there. So potentially we can watch that area. 21, and obviously 2100, psychological number as well, so keep an eye on that. QQQ, exactly the same. I've already got that zone marked out from yesterday. 510 for the rejection, so this entire area we can watch for rejection. Watch for the bounce down at 505, and then we've got 500. Okay, I do quite like that. We've got this large volume on the profile, area of confluence, bottoms of candles, pre-market low as well, and potentially this daily trend line as well. So lots of reasons why I like 500, lots of confirmations, potential confirmations there. So just keep an eye on 500 for the bounce. I'm going to put an alert in there as well. Again, if you use TradingView, hold down Control and Alt You can put the alert anywhere on the chart instead of just using the side. Next place I'd like is, again, this, we run out of volume just there. However, we have got a little bit of volume above, so potentially we can watch this region here for a bounce. But if we lose that area, there's not much volume to hold us up, and we may just go down to the next levels we're watching there and there. So let's keep an eye on 494 for the bounce. So some decent plays on QQQ if we get there. Oil pretty much has already had the break and retest, so it's broken and retest. This is what I'll be looking for on ES and the other ones. Breakout, come back, retest, bottom tail, and then the play, if you're looking to take oil, will be the push up again over that hourly candle. So we can get above $70.23, which we have. Some people would have been triggered in already, so just keep an eye on this. This is pre-market, don't forget. A safer bet will be to break and retest a pre-market high, and that will mean we've come back, we've retested this area as we've already done, and then we're putting in a bit of an uptrend. We would have to break out, come back and retest pre-market high again. So this is the riskier bounce, and same for the other two, the ES and the NASDAQ, to break and retest off this yesterday's high. That's more riskier, but could give you better reward. Otherwise, we've got the break and retest of pre-market high, and we would have already established a bit of an uptrend by that point as well. Okay, so levels on oil, we can keep watching the same areas as before. Big area of confidence here, you can see we retested there as well. So let's watch for the rejection at 71.55. We've got this region up here, 72.50 to 73 area for the rejection. And then bounce area, I do quite like this area for the bounce as well. Come back down to $70 basically. We're going to watch that for the bounce. That's all I'll be watching. Keep an eye on that. Okay, so this is gold, and we've definitely broken this downtrend now. It's not very well drawn, but you can see that general idea. We're in a new hourly uptrend. If we get back down to yesterday's low, I quite like it for the bounce. Reason for that is we've got a bit of an area of confidence as well. This region here, look at that, it's almost right to the point. So watch that area for the bounce. 26.4, I've not marked it, let's mark it up anyway. Obviously I'm watching that bottom pivot there, but I'm looking at the most recent pivots as well. And volume wise, there's not a great deal of volume there, so compared to previous price levels. So we may even just move down to the next, oh here we go, so that is the area I'm looking at, sorry, to the next tier, which is at 26.43, 26.43, 44. And then we've got this area here, the point of control as well. So this is where we're up to right now. Biggest amounts of volume, lots of price action around that area as well. So if we can break pre-market high, come back and retest this area. I don't mind whether we retest the pre-market high or even this point of control area as well, which is at 26.70. We can watch for a potential bounce. And then hard to find a short here, but we could watch this region here for a short. Bit of an area of confidence, that's 26.80, 26.84, or if we're long, we can use that as a first target or something. RTY. Oh, look at this. It's nice inverse head. Oh, I drew that a bit wrong, but zoom in a bit. This is a lovely pattern. Inverse head and shoulders pattern. That's the neckline there. And we've broken the neckline. We're coming back and now we're going to retest. So let's keep an eye out for the break and retest of a level we've been watching as well for some time, and that is 23.41. So I'm going to keep an eye on that today. Just put my alert in place for a bounce. And these are the patterns I love playing, the break and retest of the neckline. Whether you want to call it a pure head and shoulders pattern, because we've got kind of like a double head there, a double shoulder there I meant. But you know, if you just look at it as a pattern, I see it more like this. That's how I see it. I normally ignore little bits in between, as long as it comes back to the neckline. And then looking for the break and retest long. And rejection wise, we've got this point of control area. So big strong area of volume. So this is our area to watch. 2400 psychological number as well. So just keep an eye on 2400 for the rejection. There's a big void. So if we do get over this pre-market high area, there's a bit of a void above, so we might not have too much resistance until we get up into this region here, 2380 to 2400. And then bounce wise, okay, the only bounce I can see, you've got the tops of that pivot there, tops of all these pivots. We kind of shot through it. What was the ceiling became the floor, as you can see there. Tried to get through, but we couldn't. So let's watch 2306, 2300 psychological number as well. Probably why it's been holding so well. So keep an eye on that, and that's the reason I like these psychological numbers. 2300, you can see it goes back to there, that goes back to here, and then more recently here as well. Excuse me. And then finally YM. And again, it's very similar, so getting a bit bored saying this now. Areas of confluence, areas of confluence. What was the ceiling now has become the floor. Break and retest of yesterday's high I quite like. Or you can watch break and retest of pre-market high, and that would be a higher probability. This is a more riskier one, but there is a bit of volume. You can see this little volume profile to the left. And if I zoom in, you'll probably see lots of volume there. So expect to see volume around this area. Once it's updated, it'll go spot on. So this is our volume profile. Point of control goes right through that area, so we can watch this area for a bounce. So 43,590, 43,600, that area here for the break and retest long. And then the reason I don't like shorts because we've got to try and get through this area. It's going to be hard to get through that area with this volume profile looking like that. So we've got to go with the higher probability. This is looks like a reversal change. If you look, it looks like a head and shoulders pattern. Depends how you want to see it. More of a changing pattern like that as well, where we've got now down, now down, now down. It suddenly broke out and retest. So let's watch the retest at 43,590. I'm going to put another alert in there as well. I imagine all these alerts will go off at the same time. Probably the only play. Hang on, did I look at a reject? And then the same as before. We've been watching this for a few weeks now. 4400 rejection, that area up here. And then Bitcoin, look at that, it's getting closer and closer to this $100,000 mark. We're so close. Let's go to the daily so we can see better volume. Bit of volume coming in, not as much as we expect to see. Lots of volume on this breakout area, but we're very close. I've got my alert in there to remind me when it gets 100k. I'm probably looking to take a little bit more profit off up there, and then would probably expect it to come back a bit. It was, really extended. We were really far away from the 8 moving average. We have been close to it the last few days. We're really far away from the 20. We haven't been back to the 20 since the start of November, and we're really far away from the 50 moving average, that area there, and that's the area I'm looking for a bounce if we get back down to that area. So at some point we're going to snap back. You think of it like an elastic band, just pulling, 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 snap. So you know what they say, you go up the stairs and out the window, or down the escalator for the quicker. It takes a long time to get to that point, really quick to get back down to that point. And that's it. I'll just quickly recap my trades from yesterday. Wasn't a very good day as well. I had 2 losing and 1 winning trade, and I was chasing, let's go back, I was chasing the same level for 2 of the trades. I'm not sure, I think that was a quick scout to see whether I can get a direction. So I was trying to go long yesterday, and you can see I had a double bottom. I got out, I got in as it broke that candle for the long, but it just wasn't happening. Order flow wasn't really in my direction as well, and I saw the volume come in, looked like ending volume. It was a legitimate bounce area, and it just stopped me out. I kept my stop pretty tight. My stop was below there. I got in there, stopped me out. I tried that a couple of times. That's my 2 losing trades, and then I had a couple of very small winning trades. I had an issue with my rhythmic accounts, and I trade Apex accounts, and I copy onto 17, and for some reason only half, or only about a quarter of my accounts copied over. So this was a long trade I took. Not quite sure what's going on. I can see a long and a short. I think I might have got in and out of a trade there. You see, here you go, the import's gone a bit funny. I'm sure it's long, but it's telling me I'm short. But that was a short, but I don't know why it's telling me it's a long trade. It might be in a bit, but that's definitely a trade I took. Again, I flicked my position, and then I did go long as well. Oh, that's strange. Look, it says it's a short. I'm not sure what's going on here. I had some weird thing when I imported over the last couple of days, so I need to look into that. But this is definitely a long. So remember I said about the reversal candle, bottom tail candle there. This is a higher risk. You can use that as a stop. That's a higher risk. And let's draw a line in. So this would be the higher risk entry there, with a stop below there. But if you want to play a better risk, wait for it to come back in, retest. So my stop was there, my entry was there, and I got out there, as you can see. And as soon as it broke the trend, I was out of my last position. And that's it. Obviously, didn't want to come back, and would have got close to my break even there, but would have got close, I meant, to my stop there. So maybe that was a good out, but I was doing other things yesterday. In fact, I was rebuilding that indicator, the news indicator. But look at that, it went on and would have done really well. So that was about 3-4 hours, but I had a really small position as well, and then it went on to do really well. So that's kind of why I like the breaks and retests or reversals. So that's an example of a higher risk reversal, taking the bottom of that candle, and a higher probability risk reversal, just waiting for it to really break this downtrend, that trend there, coming back in, 2 candles. There's a nice RBI. It's one of my strategies as well, an RBI, and then long. So it ended okay. Not the best days though. I was down. I think I was down on the day. You can see from this, my losses were bigger than my winnings. But I was only trading like half a risk, and then only half a quarter of my accounts were being traded. I'm not sure why, so I'll keep an eye on that today. Okay, market's open in 1 minute. Good luck, trade safe, and I'll be back tomorrow. And obviously I'll be on the other live stream, which is the order flow stream, which you can see on my other stream right now. Okay, thank you for watching.